these things up, or does it just come to you in a flash, 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 flash?
Yes, because I'd like the sport to grow, okay? I'd like to see my athletes compete more often. What kind of sport has 2 events a year?
Oh, man, you fat.
up. Like sometimes like the emotional factor gets in the way where she's like, oh, my husband's speaking to me right now rather than like my coach, which can be a bad thing, but we've turned that into a really good thing. And I'm really, really proud of us for doing that. And it's made like our relationship stronger, our trust stronger. And it's made the coaching experience just like flawless, seamless. So there's no such thing, but like it's pretty dang close.
Yeah. I also, one other thing that I kind of wanted to mention, like Shane has like, I don't know. I had a period of time where like my lifts were like really stalling out that you can see like even on open powerlifting. And like, I was just having a really hard time getting past like 408, 405 to like 415 range. And like, since being like fully on Shane's program, I mean, like I took a year off after the World Games raw, but then like in the last year, we've jumped up my squat nearly 60 pounds. And so like, I just really like his programming too. I'm benching 4 times a week, and there's just so many things that he can tweak that like are even like above like my pay grade. So, like I just don't. He's so technical with everything and has a lot of experience, which I'm his wife, so people are gonna be like, oh yeah, of course he says that. But I'm like, look at my numbers, like
yeah. So you outside of this podcast has never brought
DM Shane for coaching. A ringing endorsement. All right, so how is Iceland so far? How's the venue? How's all the accommodations? I know that's I think that's like a premium location. Like anytime you have like, because like if you're gonna travel, you're gonna spend all the money. The location, like. That's a big part of like when PA decides stuff, like aside from the CVB monies, is like how's the accommodations?
Well, when I left the airport this morning, I was like, this looks like Ohio. But then I saw mountains in the distance. So I was like, all right, there's hope. I was like, what is going on?
It's like Southern Ohio.
Yeah, and then the hotel, like it kind of looked like Soviet Union era when I walked in. But they're doing renovations, but the room itself is super nice. We have not been to the menu yet. Overall, a great experience so far. We had really good lunch, so I'm very happy.
Yeah, lunch was good.
Yeah,
and I mean, I've never been to like an Equipped World Championships where, like, I mean, they didn't have me on the list for pickup, but I've also never had it happen where like the the World Championship like shuttle was there like holding a sign for pickup, which is really nice because like every other meet you're like, if you pay for the shuttle, you're like, okay, like where is it, like where do I go, you don't have any idea. And I literally found him like as soon as I walked out, so that was really nice, like organization wise as far as the shuttle went. But yeah,
I think most of the Icelandic stuff is like north, like you have to like go up there to see like all the.
It's like an hour away. We're planning on being there for a little bit tonight, just get some steps in and stuff. So see some stuff.
So I think right now we'll go a little bit into some of the nominations. We're just going to talk about the American lifters. I don't think unless there's like someone who really sticks out. I think we should go over the American lifters because people are going to have a bit more of a connection there as far as that goes. So we'll start with the women because we've got the women on the show. So the 47s, we had Heather Connor. Now she had a medical thing, so she didn't make the trip, which is unfortunate because I like, that's more of good raw to classic to equipped crossover there. Do you guys know anything about Madeline Finch? Did she already go?
Yeah, she competed Monday.
Yeah, we just got done with lunch with Ian Bell and Jean Bell and Alex Marr. So they said that she did really well, and I think she went 9 for 9 too.
Did she?
Yeah. So they said she performed really well.
Okay, and then we have Kim who won. Now she was in the nominations were 555 and 555. Was it tight? Was the battle like really close? Because I know US typically has the edge on coaching.
Let me check. We just got in like literally hours ago, so we're a little we're catching up too.
Well, we are going to talk a little bit about Equipped Worlds. This is more about the personalities involved in the Equipped side. Patricia Sutherland.
She's competing today.
Yeah. But she's nominated 8th, so that'll be kind of an uphill climb for her. Now, moving on to the 69s. This is the one I talk about Kelsey all the time because I would love to see Kelsey on the classic side. Like that's what I would love to see that.
I'm going to mention to Kelsey that you said that. I don't know that she would do that.
No, I think she's way on the dark side, so I don't think that would ever happen. But I would, fever dream, love to see that. Chelsea, you want to make some money? Come do the Pro Duel. I got you. Actually, technically, you can do the Pro Duel equipped because we can score GL. I'll figure it out. Don't worry.
Literally did not let another athlete do the Pro Duel equipped. Was it last year? So.
Yeah, that was never going to happen. Never seen right in your mind. Kelsey's like a rare exception.
Who was that?
Madeline.
Who was it?
Madeline. That competed Monday.
Someone did bitch in a Facebook group about that, but that was never an option. No one, I don't even remember. I think that was just like people were like, "Oh, can equip people do this too?" And I was like, "Nope."
Not inclusive.
Not at all. You have to clap your hands to do the Pro Duel.
Ooh, okay. So Kimmy, she won based off body weight. Nice. So they both, her and Alessandra Cerniglario, they both totaled 562.5.
Wow. So that was a coaching thing because did she pull second and then must have pulled. Kimmy pulled for the win basically then. Unless
she did, yeah. The other girl deadlifted 195 and Kimmy pulled 202.5. And then the third place gal was at 552.5. So they were all like really close together. And she's from Chinese Taipei.
Oh, okay. Okay. So she was the third nominated one that for battling with. Yeah. So this is something I picked up at Bench Worlds, and I have a lot of experience doing local meets. I've done 17 local meets, and there's rarely ever coaching in local meets. It's just how can I PR my total, right? No one's jockeying for position. Like even some of the more competitive meets, there's not a lot of jockeying. When I was at Bench Worlds, I was sitting right by the attempt table, and it was the coolest thing. It's actual competition, right? It's like real competition. Like people are actually competing, and that's what's cool about Worlds is like it doesn't like obviously it doesn't matter equipped or classic or whatever because there's actually something interesting to watch. Where at most meets there just isn't something. It's not compelling because it's just someone trying to PR total, which it can be cool. But the cool part is watching people jockey for position. I mean, that's where the actual sport comes in. So I know you guys have a ton of experience with that. We had talked when we did a Pro Duel lead up, you guys talked about, putting in dummy attempts and stuff. Do you anticipate having to use any of that stuff coming up here? Oh, it looks like we lost them.
Oh, no.
I can add them back. Hold on. Just us. Who would have thought?
Yeah, they're dealing with hotel Wi-Fi.
Look at us. Who would have thought?
Yeah, look at us. Just you and me again.
They should be able to exit and rejoin, though.
Yeah, we'll give them a minute.
You text them. It's pretty fast. All they have to do is leave and rejoin.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess to answer their question for them. Oh, never mind. They can answer.
Oh, hold on. Bring them back in.
Fuck it.
Is there a fire alarm?
That's games.
Okay, we'll be back.
No, bring the phone with.
Oh no.
That's the first. No, they got to bring the phone with.
Well, if they join, they join. I guess you and I can just keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't know each other at all, though. So like, no. I hate so you coach both of them. Was there any difficulties coming into prep for either of them?
Really? No. Like up until last week, Chloe had an amazing prep, like no problems whatsoever. We had some bench press difficulty, but we fixed that. Mary Jane, that was just and it really, by fix that, it was just a bad day. When you're wearing equipment, like if you're a equip lifter, like you understand, like if you think raw lifting's hard, like for like prep and stuff, like it takes a team for one, and two, it takes a lot of mental resilience because a lot of shit goes wrong. And since a lot of stuff goes wrong, like it's easy just to lose it. It just kind of like lose your mind and think everything's gonna go to hell in a handbasket because like it might just be like, oh, my shirt wasn't pulled down like half an inch, which like legit, like that stuff matters. So getting squared away was really easy for both of them. And just recognizing what are real problems and what are just like technical things that we need to make sure that happen on the day of.
So I think we got them back for a second. So I think the fire alarm is abated, but now they're jumping in and back, and they're back. Okay, here we go. Oh, I got to add them back into the show. Yes.
Okay.
There we go. Perfect. Okay, no fire. No fire. They have plenty of ice. They can just put it out. No big deal.
We peed on it.
We will get to that for sure. That will be that.
Yeah.
Pete.
Yeah.
I peed on it.
Let me get this poll real quick and put it out. All right. Anyway, Shane was just talking about how if you don't pull your shirt down a half inch, that you might have a bad day. So he's really convinced me that equipment.
No, like you might bomb out. Like there's a high chance that you just not. You might as well. Yeah. That happens.
Yeah. I put.
Weightlifting is so high. Like it's much more. Okay. Here's the thing. I've been lifting for over 10 years, and I just switched over to equipped lifting 3 years ago. This is my 6th equipped meet, and like I know how to squat, bench, and deadlift. Like I could do it in my sleep. Like raw meets, like obviously I love them, but like in equipment, it's such a skill. Like it's something that I still have to ask other people like their tips and tricks on things. It's like it's one of those things where like if you have never done it before, it's just unlike anything else you've ever done. It's truly its own sport.
I agree.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like some of the people, for example.
Well, I was gonna. So, what if you had to put a percentage on how much? So, let's say.
No, I don't want to disconnect from Chloe's iPhone.
If you had to put a percentage on like how much more difficult, not difficult, but
This is so upsetting.
like how much more
So good. I know.
technical it is. You guys are still on.
Yeah, you guys are still on.
I don't know if I should try to go back to the other Wi-Fi or not.
You guys don't have to whisper. You're live. You're live.
Yeah, you're alive.
Oh, you can still hear us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Are you on a phone or on a computer?
We're on a computer. Should we do the phone instead?
Do the phone. The phone is 10 times better.
Okay.
So you can stay on the computer,
we'll
but
pull
then
it.
open the phone and then try that, because then I can keep putting people on other grids. I'm gonna
People are saying they can't hear the audio
no.
live.
That was at the beginning. I had us muted. They're like, you can't hear anything. I'm like, oh, because we're muted. But aside from that,
So, like what I was saying though, like for example, like people in like raw lifting who like squat, like I squat closer and like I come forward a little bit more in raw lifting. But, like the people who like are very like, I don't know, have a lot of like variation in how they squat, and like maybe their knees will come up in between, like when they come up and stuff, like that just straight up will not work in equipment. So like you have to completely learn a different way to squat, and it really comes down to like mechanics, or like the suit will literally just eat you alive.
right. you have to stay more in the pocket, basically.
Exactly.
Now, do you feel like equipped can translate back more to classic, or classic translate more to equipped, or you just have to be basically equipped all the time?
I think probably. I mean, I don't know, Shane. What do you think about that? Because he started
In my
equipped and then
opinion-
went to raw.
In my opinion, the elite powerlifter will do really well, and it'll really showcase who is really on their shit in equipment, and like Raw. So, but I feel like when you go back to Raw, you don't have to. It's almost like it's like the equipment taper. Like you don't have to worry about anything Raw.
Pause for a second so I can eject them. Yeah, I had to eject your other stream so it wasn't.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah, you guys' picture is much more clear, like way more clear. Yeah, we stopped doing Zoom. This software is just better because people's phones are usually a better picture anyway. All right, well, awesome. We're like stable now. It's great. But go ahead, Shane. I think you were.
So it showcases the Raw lifter's talent, but I think it makes the Raw lifter better too. Because when they kind of go back into Raw lifting, like it's pretty seamless. Like you don't have to because if you're still worried about like mindset and little cues and just all that stupid stuff going into equip lifting, like you have so many other things that you have to worry about in a suit, that like that stuff can really just destroy lifters. So I don't think it's for a beginner lifter. And if you do it and you are a beginner lifter, it's pretty hard, and you learn pretty quick that you shouldn't have to worry about all these little things in equipment anymore. And I always tell Chloe about this all the time, like just like when we're in like Raw training cycles and stuff, it just seems like so seamless. And then we get into equipment, and then all of a sudden we have these challenges we have to face. It's just like another layer of difficulty that's a lot of fun as a coach. And then we go back to Raw, and it's like, okay, well, let's see how strong we can get Raw. And then we get back in the suit, and then we revisit like all these little things that we had problems with throughout the year for prep and stuff. So I think it definitely makes the Raw lifter better.
Yeah, and like as far as like people having like certain things, like I think that I heard sometime like that there was someone who was like, oh, like I didn't get my deadlift in because I couldn't do my whole deadlift setup, and I wasn't even going to try to attempt a deadlift if I couldn't get my like whole deadlift ritual in. And like you just don't have that in equipped lifting. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter like if you have whatever amount of time, because I mean anything could happen. They could lose a knee wrap, and I can't be like, oh well, I can't set up just how I like to every time, so I'm not even going to try to do an equipped squat. Like no, like you got to go do it, which it should be the same way in Raw lifting, but it just like really diminishes any minute things like, oh, if I don't shake my foot 3 times, I can't deadlift, like it's just like, you can.
Oh, I'm not
like,
playing the right song. I can't play. I can't go squat.
I feel like, doesn't that cross both? That has to be both. That has. I mean, he just said a couple minutes ago that if his shirt isn't down a half an inch, then you might bomb out. So I think, I mean, that's not mutually.
No, they're not the same issues. I use that as an example of like of how focused you have to be on things that are important.
Oh, okay. So right, yeah,
and not like commands, like because if you're worried about hitting your bench commands, but then you can even get 355 down to your chest because you didn't pay attention to your shirt being in the right position. Like it's very technical.
Yeah, but then also like you can't be standing there on the side like, oh, like it needs to be like, at some point in time you just have to be like, that's the right general area. We got to roll with it, rock with it, because we can't be sitting here like messing with it all day. You got stuff you got to go do. And like just prepping to get to the platform is so much more energy inducing for equipped lifting too. So you don't really have time to like mess around. You know what I mean?
So like all the problems that a Raw power lifter will have, they'll have in equipment plus the shirts and the suits. So if you can cancel out all the other stuff, it makes equipped lifting a lot easier. And therefore I think it makes it a lot more challenging. So
So I guess
it makes the Raw issues away. There are no Raw issues.
My big thing is actually I do want to talk about, because I think this is the important time in the people to have this discussion, is what is the future landscape of Raw and equipped? Like, are they going to? I mean, I assume they're going to coexist, because I think Chloe, you mentioned that they're very popular internationally. And so, like, it's still going to exist. but like in what form or fashion? Is it going to be where we use GL and equipped lifters compete against classic? Like what do you think the future holds for equipped lifting?
Anyone want to go? I mean, if you have anything to do with it, Sebastian, equipped lifting will be dead. So I don't know.
Well, no, so here okay. You want to save it? I like made up scenarios. So like you're right. So like example, I'm the team powerlifting guy, right? But I still have like done thought experiments about how powerlifting can be successful as an individual sport. So like it's the same thing here. It's like what's the path forward for equipped? Does equipped need to be its own lane? Is there going to be some sort of hybrid crossover? Like what is any idea scenario? Like is the current situation kind of just what it is? Like what's that?
Like, are you talking about on the US scene or the world scene?
I mean, I think all of it in general. Like, is there going to be an equipped Sheffield? Is there going to be is Titan going to go run their own version? Like, what do you think can kind of help equipped?
I think equipped lifting, on the worldwide stage, no one's concerned about it. The only people that are concerned about equipped lifting being successful are people in the United States. Everyone internationally has been doing equipped lifting for ever, and they just don't see it ever going away. And they're happy with their equipped world championships and happy with the decades that they've had in the world games. And so just with raw lifting, we're hopeful maybe it'll get moved up to the Olympics, but I don't think anyone necessarily needs to see a pro scene for equipped lifting. And so maybe raw does become more of a pro scene in the United States or even internationally. But I think that equipped lifters will probably be content. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think in general, most equipped lifters are content with competing at worlds and going to world games, because world games is just unlike anything you've ever experienced ever before in your life.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, that is interesting. Where it not to say it becomes more hobby-ish, but it's definitely more of that. It's a very international thing. It's a very international thing to go do nationals and then do worlds and then do the Olympics. That's a very I would say Eastern thing. That's a European thing. That's how they develop their sports organizations, like FIFA and stuff like that. So I guess that's.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. But you could say the same thing. You could kind of say the same thing about the sports in the Olympics, for the U.S. though, because you could have medalists in the Olympics that are only making $30,000 off of that medal. A lot of the Olympic athletes are getting most of their money from deals if they're big enough athletes. And so, I mean, you could even call the Olympic athletes hobby lifters or hobby athletes, even though they're in the Olympics. You know what I mean? So
oh yeah,
it's
I mean that is one of the
perspective based.
Is that exactly what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Interesting. I am just for fun going to run a pro meet. I already have that in my lexicon. I will do a pro equipped meet for funsies. I got to figure out how I want to do it, but we'll do something just to be a troll for sure.
I'll make my return when you do that.
No, it'll be this year. There'll be something this year.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna start to do I'm gonna start to
Shane returns equipped.
Wait, what was that? Sorry.
She said Shane returns equipped.
I was like, Shane returns equipped.
Yeah. No, we'll do something interesting. Maybe a raw verse equipped challenge or something with GL, or we'll figure something out. Anything
the 2-day pro duel.
Oh, that's
raw and equipped. You have to do both.
You have to do both.
Oh. One day raw, one day equipped. Oh my god.
Then you combine the points together, and then that
would be wild.
No, I would combine. I would take 3 and 3. 3 equipped, 3 raw.
One day raw, one day equipped is crazy. That would be insane.
No, them all on the same team. 3 equipped, 3 raw on each team. Same platform.
Oh yeah, could do that.
Yeah, I'll do stuff like that. That's fun. Absolutely. Anything fun at this point until all the money's raised.
We're
Anything fun.
inclusive. We'll accept the raw lifter.
Definitely gonna have this is good.
The thing is, if the raw lifters can lift as much as the equipped people, then they can. They don't have to wear a suit. Bring it on.
No, but then they get the GL modifier. They get the formula modifier.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you could have like an equipped lifter representative that's lifting in the equipped division, just like Jen Thompson. Jen Thompson used to compete in the equipped division, but bench walk. She could bench more than all the other ladies.
Oh yeah, and she would just take the money. I remember that. That's so funny. No, she would do like during the Arnold, wouldn't she do? She would do the pro. She would do the pro Arnold, and then she would go do like bench the next day, and then equipped the following day, and just take all the money. She's cool. I had her. She was here for a seminar last year. Crazy. They're both crazy. Anyway, what other topics? Go into
raw and equipped.
Raw and equipped together on the same platform. I was gonna say raw unity, but that wouldn't be raw unity. That would be like. What would we call that? It's got to be something creative. Rap
the Clash
and rap skins versus shirts. Skins versus shirts.
Oh, that's spicy.
I like that one. Skins versus shirts. Let's go. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up our outline. I don't want to miss anything. Where did I put that?
Jared said he's finishing up training, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, cool. Yeah, we got time.
Where are we at? We talked a lot.
Shane, while he's working this out, do you want to talk about our last couple training sessions with me and Mary Jane? Oh.
Did we talk about that while you guys were disconnected?
We'll have to re-listen to the pod.
Yeah. All right. I'm back. I just had to email. We're back. So this email.
Great.
All right. How's Iceland? Oh, Mary Jane, nice that you have clothes on this time. I forgot to say that. This is our last podcast.
Chloe made sure I got dressed.
Thanks, Chloe.
No free tits today. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys.
It'd probably get you more views, though, so maybe I should have.
All right, everyone, just... All right, okay, so I did want to talk. So for those of you... we got the pupper. For those of you who don't know, Chloe is a medical student, and she did a research project on urinary incontinence. And I know we didn't prep too much on that, but I did want to talk about that a little. And obviously, I think my perspective is obviously in terms of like mainstream sports and like professionalized sports. Like, what did your research yield like from that? Did you hear that?
So my research was looking mostly into trying to correlate incontinence severity with musculoskeletal findings. So basically like seeing what motion preferences all the different parts of the body had. And we actually found a really big correlation with the atlantoaxial joint. So that's your C1 on C2. And with like rotation to the right at that joint, you're more likely to have increased urinary incontinence severity. And with rotation to the left at that joint, you were actually like that was correlated with a decreased incontinence severity index score. And so the thought behind that is your vagus nerve runs through there and then communicates with the celiac. And there have been some research studies that have been conducted on animals that found with sacral nerve stimulation that there was actually a feedback mechanism between the sacral plexus and the vagus nerve. I know I'm getting really sciencey.
I was going to say, now do it in English.
It seems like Yeah. So basically, it seems like there's some other factors that are contributing to the severity potentially of the severity of urinary incontinence that people are having. And we also found some like dysfunctions in the lumbar and sacral areas that could be reflective of people bracing improperly also. So as far as things looking forward, bracing is definitely a piece to look at. Like if you're having trouble with urinary incontinence, definitely take a look at your bracing and make sure that you're supporting your pelvic floor well and not putting unneeded stress on your bladder. There are some really incredible like pelvic floor PTs that you can go to work on that. And then also like if you have a DO physician that you go to, or a chiropractic would know like what the findings are that I'm talking about. They can take a look at my paper and try to look at those things on you and see if they can treat you and see if that'll make it better. There needs to be more research in terms of seeing if the dysfunctions that we found, if treating those would be helpful or not. But we did find that it correlated with the severity of incontinence that elite female powerlifters were having, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, and it's like I've had personal training clients who like don't want to deadlift because of it. Like it's I know a lot of people like will now Wu-Tang, like especially at the high level. If you're a high level powerlifter, you're just gonna go for it. But like if we're trying to get more people into the sport, it is a barrier because what would happen is like they would get around that like 225 and they'd be making great progress and they'd be feeling great, and they get to a certain level and they would like I was surprised how widespread it was, honestly. I've had 5 different in-person clients, and I don't do as much training as I used to, but like I was just so shocked how many people like were dealing with this. And so when I heard that you were doing this, I'm like, oh, we got to talk about it. Like what are the solutions? Are there things we can do? Because it for like obviously for high level powerlifter it doesn't matter, but like for a general person, they're just not going to deadlift. Like they just don't care.
And I've had people message me on Instagram saying that they're like, I was getting ready to quit powerlifting until like I saw you do a study on this, right? And so like even just me putting the study out seems like it's helped some women be like, oh, like even the high level lifters are experiencing this, you know, like this isn't something for me to be ashamed of, because people don't know. If there's no literature on it and people don't talk about it, then people think that it's just them and, you know, they're embarrassed by it. So I hopefully just having like the exposure will help more females get into the sport. But outside of that, just learning how to brace properly, ask people that are experienced in the sport and maybe have experienced this problem also, see if they can make sure that you're bracing correctly. If you can find a really good like uro gynecologist, have them do an exam on you, but you're going to want to like avoid bladder irritants. And unfortunately, bladder irritants are things like caffeinated beverages and
Kevin, we'll wait for them to hopefully reconnect. Do you hear my audio as my lips are moving? I know that they're experiencing some sort of delay because they don't. Yeah, they are. They're waiting for the thing. All right. Well, hopefully, we won't have 1,000 guests from Iceland going into the future. But yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Shane is we wait for them to disconnect. Shane is a coach in Indiana. Obviously, I think we went over that. But where can they find you if they're interested?
You can find me on Instagram. Sorry, you can find me on Instagram. It's the Deadlift Nut. That's probably going to be your number one funnel for contact.
Yeah. So you're doing Classic Open coming up next.
Yeah, that's the plan. I haven't signed up yet.
You'll be a 93?
What's that?
Did I leak that?
Yeah, 93. God willing, because I'm pretty light right now. I'm trying to get back up there. I've been putting in a lot of work.
You can join the vaunted battle of the 83s.
And get smoked.
Some of those guys aren't going to make prime time. Some of those guys are going to be lifting with the Masters 3 who's taking a vacation to Atlanta. Right. That's gonna be. I'm gonna laugh. It's gonna be funny.
Yeah.
Like
It's weird because I've taken like a good amount of dedicated time off, and I'm really enjoying it. But like watching all these people just kind of come out of nowhere, and then on top of that, come out of nowhere, and just the people who are still in the scene. Oh my goodness. And people still seeing just progress so fast is just astounding.
Well, and if you actually look, there is a correlation to not having responsibilities and making insane progress.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. It still feels too bad. Everyone's like, oh, why didn't you train as much? I'm like, dude, I got 1,000 members. I got 25 staff. Like, I can't just, oh, I'm gonna go train for 2.5 hours. Like, you got a family. And
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I try not to put myself into that mentality either, because that also.
Oh yeah.
Like I 100% agree with you on what you're talking about, because I used to be that person. I used to be just like the person who would just go and lift, and then that was all I did. I did online coaching, and that's not. And I was single. Like now, I'm married. I got someone depending on me.
We're buffering. Hopefully he's not just talking into the void. I wonder if I can do something. Well, it's just me. and then there was one. Interesting.
Sorry for all the technical issues, everybody. This is international podcasting.
But and then I guess Shane will be
Sweet. Mary Jane was gonna say something too about urinary incontinence stuff too. Oh.
Do I need to wait for him to come back on?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Do you care if Mary Jane says a couple words about urinary incontinence too?
Yeah, yeah.
Go for it. Yeah, so I actually did her study back a year or so ago, because I've dealt with it like my entire lifting career, like 10 plus years. But that's a big thing. Like, girls are way too embarrassed to talk about it. And so then they're like, oh, I'm not going to lift because I might pee myself. So I just try to be like open and honest about it with my little personal anecdotes and kind of put a little humor in it. Because I mean, what else are you going to do? So yeah, that's what I do. And like learning how to breathe and brace properly helps me a lot. And then I have a lot of like, which I don't know the sciencey way to explain my issues other than like leading up to Worlds here, my TFL's been real tight. My hips have been a little tight, and that it like over tightens my pelvic floor. Instead of my pelvic floor not being strong enough, it like over tightens, and then it squeezes my bladder. And so that's something I've worked like with my chiropractor and PT to kind of figure out and manage. So, and it's always changing, but yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, so it's something that has some solutions that can be treated. Is there something that works better than other things that like people could potentially do at home, I guess?
Yeah. Did I cut out originally when I was talking about this?
Yeah, well, you mentioned, I think, a couple, like, you mentioned a list of different things, but I'm just trying to give people that quick hit. I know that's not.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the biggest things are going to be making sure that you're bracing correctly, and then not like figuring out what your triggers are for urinary incontinence. And for a lot of people, that's carbonation and caffeine. So if you're like doing your pre-workout, of course you might want like your caffeine in there, but like maybe not doing the energy drink component, trying to see, if the carbonation is playing any role in that. Because it definitely does for me. Like as soon as I have carbonated drinks before I deadlift, like I know I will pee my pants during that session. If I drink like a Red Bull or something before I lift. So those are quick and easy tips, but it's different for everybody.
Yeah, like fluid management in general too, because I used to do bodybuilding. It was like, oh, drink like 1 to 2 gallons of water a day. But you only need like 2/3 of your body weight in ounces in fluids actually. And also you have to take into account like watery foods as well. So diminishing my fluid intake. And then I drink more electrolytes, so I'm not as thirsty, especially on like squat and deadlift days. That's also helped a lot as well.
Yeah, no, I mean this topic definitely warrants like a whole podcast, like and a full like serious. I have a serious personality.
Yeah,
it warrants my serious personality, actually doing research and actually asking serious questions. But I just wanted to touch on it because I think more as powerlifting becomes more mainstream, it's going to be more talked about, and it's going to be more of a thing that is going to need some handholding for people, and so it definitely is something that'll have to be talked about. But it is now time.
Yeah, we can do a follow-up on this if you want.
Oh yeah, no, we do. Just like,
and I actually have like
that'll be the whole topic, and maybe like me and you will sit down and we'll have like a pre-interview where you can actually like educate me, and then I can ask better questions.
And I can see too. I can see too if there's a urogynecologist I know, I could see if she'd be willing to come on to kind of talk about it more from her treatment aspect of things too. So
yes, because I think there's layers and layers to this, and it's probably good content for you too to start to do that.
Yeah.
All right, it is now time for r/powerlifting. So for those of you who don't know, we finish every show with a segment called r/powerlifting, where we read through Reddit and we pick a blurb and then we talk about it. So I'm going to go top to bottom, and then you guys are going to decide if you want to indeed talk about this topic. So top of Reddit right now was actually Equipped World. We just talked about that. The next one was Taylor Edwards' return at 83. Now, I've talked about that a lot. Any of you guys want to touch on that at all? Does anyone care about the fourth place 83? No? Okay, good.
No.
Oh, so this is the one. This is the one that got my attention because I think we can just talk about it in any context. So the USAPL announced their international affiliate, the IDFPA.
Gay.
God, do you know anything about marketing? The IDFPA looks like when I do a typo. I just smashed the keyboard. There's no sizzle. Call it literally anything else. It's just. Like nothing rolls off the tongue like IDFPA.
It's like Alibaba,
International
AliExpress,
IDF. Drug-free powerlifting association. Okay.
Yeah. So too little, too late. I don't know. Does anyone have an interesting? I mean, of course, I have takes because I just drink their tears. But like,
I saw that.
What would it take for you to compete with them?
I'll think you can
have world World Games with all of the people, the majority of athletes.
Right, because like you guys are paying for all this, right? And they would have to do something so crazy. They have to pay you. Right?
Isn't everyone already switching over? So what's the point? Like switching over to IPF again? So
here's my theory. I actually think it's a fine move because if you're the USAPL, you go find some disenfranchised meet director in England who's got pissed off by the IPF. And you bring them in, they take all the risk. If you're running a meet, you take all the risk. The federation takes no risk. The federation makes money from the drug testing and makes money from the memberships. So it costs them virtually nothing to set up an international affiliate. And so I do think it's a good business move from their perspective to do something like that. I think the IPF should be concerned because like USAPL fucked me over and I just took over the entire state of Illinois, right? A majority of lifters in Illinois are now Powerlifting America from one person. So like you should be concerned if you screw over the wrong person. Like, so I think there is going to be a battle. And if the USAPL has a ton of money, so there is a battle that is going to take place. I think people downplay it too much just because the USAPL is run by a bunch of goofy people. And they only need one serious person. If they hire one serious person from like another sporting organization for the USAPL, like let's say they get some executive from the NBA who's got all these connections. Somehow they get someone like that, which isn't out of the question. Like they could take over everything overnight, just the same way Powerlifting America took over everything overnight. It all just flips depending on where the money is at. So not to, that's my domain, but that's my opinion. If lifters are going to go where the best product is. So my thing I would say to the IPF is you have to continue to develop a good product. And so they really haven't. I mean, Sheffield is a great product, but that's not the IPF. That's SBD. Like, what products what is the IPF doing to improve the product? That's my question.
I think they're keeping it the same. And I think that's it's just the same thing as SBD.
Yeah.
It's just hardcore competition. And that's all it's ever been.
Right. I mean, the lack of incentives for athletes. Like, the hotel stuff is kind of weird. Like charging people if they could change those policies, I think that would benefit people. But obviously I know why you have to stay at that hotel because the hotel gives, like, basically the venue is free if enough people stay at the hotel. So it kind of, that's where all the economics comes in terms of that. That's called state of play for a reason.
Yeah. I don't know like the technical things, like all of the things with all of that, but I do know like Jen and Donovan Thompson are really dear friends of mine, and they're still involved with the USAPL and like operate on a pretty probably like administrative level for the USAPL. I don't know what the technical term would be for that, but they've told me, like kind of their developments with the USAPL and a lot of like why they're doing. They would be like a good couple to have on here to talk about all of that because I truly just don't know all the details.
I have her number.
Yeah,
because no one wants it's not like no one wants to talk. I hit up
they're great.
I hit up Alex Waters and we had a conversation about like just general stuff. You guys know Alex because he's around.
I used to coach Alex.
Okay, yeah. I talked to him. He didn't want to come on because he just doesn't know the ins and outs yet.
And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you should come. You should still come and tell me about what your plans are. Okay, how did you run for the executive committee and you don't know what your vision is? And he says the biggest issue with the USAPL is communication. I'm like, great. What does that mean? Like, what does communication mean? How about give me something?
Talk to the Thompson.
Yes, I should. Because they can make a case. Like I don't see the case.
Yeah.
I just think it's so the biggest thing for me is when I send PA an email and I need something done, it gets done. When I was with the USAPL, it took 6 weeks. And I just don't operate as a person, don't operate like that. So it was easy switch. Because when I signed, and obviously they were desperate for directors, so they're gonna contact me fast. But like the speed of communication is just is the whole reason for it. I can sanction a meet and have it up in 3 days. And then I can start marketing the meet. I can start doing all these things. And so I think that's an administrative thing. That's not a product thing at all. That's an easy fix to be better at communicating, basically.
Yeah.
So I guess
I think as far as, us three are concerned as athletes and, coach myself, we don't dip too much into it if we can help it. But I know a majority of powerlifters and coaches look for, is going to be competition for sure. Yeah. And then how much are you going to give back to the lifter? And that's pretty much as far as we look into it. Yeah. Well, other than that, we want to see whoever does that the most succeed. And, I feel like that pretty much sums that up.
Well, I think we all have made assumptions, but I have hard data now. I did a survey. I got 156 responses. And everyone who's in the IPF for Politics in America says competition. Exactly what you said. They say competition, international competition. That's what they say. Everyone who's in the USAPL, they either say availability of meets, or the collegiate level. It's one of two things. Where did you guys put that? Availability of meets, which is true in some cases, and the collegiate level, which they still basically dominate, as you guys know, as Midland. Obviously, Midland will never. They're pretty set over there.
Yeah.
On the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me see if there's any other interesting blurbs we can. American Pro.
Yeah, and as far as collegiate lifting goes,
Oh, we're getting the Icelandic. All right, go ahead. I think you're back. You said as far as the collegiate level goes, and that's when you cut out.
And as far as collegiate lifting goes, a lot of that, I remember when the shift happened from USAP. Can you hear me?
We get a little bit, and then it goes back and forth. I know there's a delay from when I talk to when you hear it.
Can you hear me okay?
I can. Now Shane can? No, I can hear you.
It's just back and forth.
Shane, can you hear me?
Back and forth.
So I can hear you.
Oh, no. Oh. Are we back?
So Shane can't hear you, but I can hear you. I heard, are we back?
I can hear her, but it's just breaking up.
And now she's frozen.
Okay. So as far as the collegiate level goes, I remember when the switch happened, and it was all just based off of what Midland was going to do, right? Because Midland has the largest powerlifting program, and we give out scholarships, and they've swept national team titles, I think, every year since 2020, except for last. This has been tough. We're working with.
Oh, now we finished. All right, we were talking a little about that collegiate level. I think she was going the direction. Midland basically dominated everything. They've got huge. What is that team?
Yeah, until this last year, they've been pretty much dominating. And then I think what she was going to piggyback into is that one of the things that I feel like parallels is that who's elite and who's going where, and that decides a lot of stuff.
Yes, right. And so what I've not secretly been working on, but what I've been working on in the background is. I'm trying to find a university that has a Title IX. So for those who don't know, Title IX means you have to have equal men and women sports. I'm looking for a school that has a Title IX issue that needs a women's sport that is willing to fund a program. So I have been hitting up tons and tons. I want a legit university. I want a legit Division I university. I want them to, a powerlifting program would be very affordable for them to launch. And so I have been talking with several programs. I'm trying to get them to launch I'm basically trying to build a legit program to help the sport in general, but it'll help powerlifting America too. So my vision for the collegiate level is the colleges need to run the collegiate level. The federations need to get the fuck out. Like the federations have no stake in the collegiate level because they're just going to fuck things up. What the college need to do is each of the coaches needs to be a member of the association, and the coaches need to elect their own director, and that director will run the collegiate level. They get to decide how they want things to run, and then guess what? If you're elite, you go to Powerlifting American Nationals. You go to Worlds, right? There's a different avenue. There's no reason a federation should be involved. It just mucks things up. I mean, I've heard stories where the coaches are all in unison. They all want to make nationals a team event, and then the federation shuts it down because it's a money thing for them. Like, well, at what like now you're just now you're not even taking care of what the athletes and the coaches want. So right. I've been advocating. What was that?
What makes it watchable? Why they're doing it?
Yeah, no, I don't even care about what I know. I'm the watchability guy, and you probably think I'm not even coming from that perspective. I'm coming from who is responsible. Yeah. The college coaches are responsible. They need to decide if they don't want to make their sport watchable. That's fine. The college coaches need to just be in charge, and then we can worry about watch. I think when I talk about watchability, I'm asking for federations and organizations to do very, very simple things, okay? You don't have to use all my ideas, right? Some of my ideas are crazy. Competing as often as I'm proposing is crazy. Like, that's a fundamental shift to the sport. The small things I'm asking people to do, make events shorter, make them fewer lifters, like, make them more competitive. Like, those are not big asks. Those are not heavy lifts, right? Does it mean everyone gets to play now? No. Not everyone gets to play at the professional level. Like 24 lifters in a flight is insane. It's a 5-hour meet. Like it's not practical. Yeah. So like, I would like to see small steps, not to get too far off topic. I would like to see small steps like that. Small steps like that would do huge things for the sport. Those other bigger leaps, like the reason I ask athletes to compete more often is because we need more content. We don't need more content right now. Right now, we need a couple more watchable events. And so we need to do that. You still want to make an individual sport? Fine. You don't want to go the team route yet? That's fine. Like, but you need like the common sense changes I'm asking for, like, should be easy to take place. Yeah. God forbid we have a tailgate before a meet. Oh no, drink beer and eat like that's not controversial. What's controversial about that? Get some food trucks, get a keg, and have a tailgate before your event. What people don't realize is Powerlifting America, USA, all those, they're nonprofits. So you have the ability to do so many things in a much more easy way than other organizations. Like you can have alcohol at your events if you're a nonprofit. Like you get discounts. You can do all these cool fundraiser things. You can use alcohol as your fundraiser. Like you can do all these amazing things that people just don't seem to be too interested in. So yeah, it drives me absolutely nuts. If we do get them back, I think they have to go take a picture.
Yeah, they won't be back. She just texted me. Because they gotta go take team pictures.
So we'll chat for the next 5-10 minutes, and then we'll wrap it up here.
Sounds good.
But yeah, I mean, what do me and you do after every meet? we go drink a beer and have food. Like it's just part of sports. Like, and I really
all the meet directors do it. All the refs do it.
Yeah, it's like, and that's a different part of it. I think what I'm asking for is the fan part of it. Like, if you're a fan,
right.
Like, if you roll up to you see what I do with my local meets. Like, when it's nice out, I have a bunch of yard games out there. I've got, I'm gonna have a food truck at every meet. I found a good food truck. I'm gonna have a food truck at every meet. like it's just about having a good time, because powerlifting can be boring, especially at the local level. It can be very boring. And so having reasons for parents to bring their kids and hang out and do some stuff. Like I'm going to do a moon jump for the state. I'm going to do a couple moon jumps for the state meet. I'm going to turn it into a big thing. And I think like those things are the little things I want to ask for in terms of other stuff.
And I could 100%, agree with that. Cause like I am by no means a sports fanatic. Okay. Like I used to be, but like, for example, I'm going to the Notre Dame this Saturday. Notre Dame game this Saturday with my family and friends. And, I get to spend quality time with my family and friends, and we get to drink and we get to have some good food and we just get to enjoy stuff. Am I going to enjoy the game? Absolutely. But there's going to be times like I went to a Colts game.
Hold on here. I got a good, this isn't mean or anything. I got a good question for you. Can you name one Notre Dame player?
No, I don't know, because I'm not a sports.
I'm not saying that's the point. The point is like you could care less who's playing. You don't know anyone who's playing. Right. You're still going. That's what powerlifting needs.
Yeah. I played football for 9 years, and like I was super into it, but I'm not now. But now that I'm gonna go, like I'm gonna have a good time and watch a good game and understand the game and all that stuff. But like same thing with powerlifting. I think it should be that way too. It gives a reason gives people a reason to stay and have fun, because like even with the Colts game I went to, which I think we won. We even won. It was like 3 weeks ago or something like that. And like, dude, I almost fell asleep during the third quarter, and I was just like, you know what? This is boring. And then fourth quarter picked up. The beer guy came around. I had another beer and I had fun. We left, and then you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I think powerlifting is also even better because you're literally there and you're just watching someone lift just at the pro level insane amounts of weight, and so it can be a little more engaging. You can be a little, you can be closer to the action, and like you can see like that there. And I think if you just package it right, people will come and watch and enjoy. And obviously there's fandom, you're fans of your team or your favorite player or favorite lifter. So yeah, I mean, I think the problem is we're on board, right? We know, like we're fine. Like we're not the people who we have to convince, right?
Yeah.
And you know what I found is a lot of times it's not like people are unwilling to do the stuff. It's that people sometimes don't ask or don't have the capacity. Like I'm obviously heavily involved in PA. And so a lot of times we want stuff to happen and it's just not possible because there just isn't enough will. There's not enough want to. Like I'll stick my nose in anything. Like I'll fuck it. I called up DraftKings, bro. I sent a cold email to DraftKings. Like I'll stick my nose anywhere. Like I don't care. Of course, they're gonna say no 99% of the time, but that 1% could really change everything. So I think it would be cool to see more people stick their nose in and try to get some stuff going. Like, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to buy. I heard a story that USAPL had a bar one year and they sold all the liquor. They sold all of it. Were you at that one? At that national?
It could have been, yeah, more than likely. If it was pre-split, then I definitely was there. But if it was post, I plead fifth.
Yeah, it was a pre-split. I heard a story that they sold all the alcohol. Like,
that's what they did.
It's a good time. This sounds like a good time.
Yeah, and dude, every world championship I've ever been to, every national championship I've ever been to, the hotels like selling alcohol. The bars, there's always a line. Like, there's always people out there. There's always people buying food. Like, it's just, I just don't see anything wrong with it. As long as you're not
remember, it's revenue. It's money for the federation. Right. Like money. Like, give me money. Like just maybe I need to start framing things a different way. You can make more money if you do.
More cash money.
Exactly. Well, that's another problem too. So remember, no one gets paid, right? No one makes. If we sell a bunch of alcohol, no one makes any money. So like at Powerlifting America, so like there really isn't an incentive. There's no reason. So like. I guess that may be part of the issue as well. Whereas, like, if I host something here, I make a cut or I get something if I do something.
Mm-hmm.
when I do that. All right. Well, this was good, despite the technical, the interesting.
Yeah, well, international travel.
Yeah, no, I want to make sure it's not the systems that we have up here. I know some.
I don't know. The system's great. The clarity's good. Audio's good.
Yeah, I did have us muted at the beginning, but we're all looks like we're good now. All right, so I think we're gonna wrap things up here. This was Listen for Commands. That's Shane. That was Mary Jane. That was Chloe. This will be up on all platforms. Coming up shortly, the YouTube will be available for watch almost immediately. But other than that, we will see you guys.